In this video, I will show you how to add a survey to your Wix website quickly and easily. The first thing that we need to do is open up Elfsight. This is the tool that we will be using to build the widget, and I've linked it in the description below. Go ahead and click on that link and it will take you straight over to this page. This link also ensures that everything connects properly when we embed it. From here, just enter your email into this box to sign up for free, and then on this next page, create your password. Just like that, we are signed up and ready to go. Okay, so once we are signed up to Elfsight and we have access to all of the Elfsight widgets, the widget that we are looking for is called the Form Builder. So to find this, we just want to go to this search widgets box at the top and type in form. And right here, we can see the Form Builder widget. So we can go ahead and click into this, and it's now going to ask us to choose a template. Now, in the templates, the survey is right here. So we can click on the survey, and once the survey is selected, we can then go down and click on continue with this template. Once the template is selected, we can now go through and start building out our form and building up the survey that we would like to add to Wix. Now, the way this works is there's different pages. So we have these two different pages right here where we have share your opinion, where people can fill out the experience, how satisfied they are, and do they have any suggestions. And then the second page is going to be personal information. Now, of course, this is completely customizable. We'll customize this as we go, but this is just an example to show you how these pages work and how they look. So to edit the first page, we can go ahead and click in, and I'll just go back to see the live editor. And right here, we can choose a title for this page. So right now, this is called Share Your Opinion. So we can edit this, and we can then go down to each of these fields, and we can choose what we want to ask. So we can add a field right here, and we can choose if we want to ask for a website or a link, a phone number, a date, time, them to drop in a file, an image, a star scale, smiley scale, number scale, all of these different things. So as an example, let's go ahead and add in another number scale, which is going to look like this. And we can say in here, how satisfied are you with our shipping times? We can then choose the range. So 1 to 10 is going to be the most common, of course. We can choose the left and the right caption, which is once again probably going to remain the same, but actually likely doesn't really make sense. So we can say in here, not satisfied or very satisfied. We can choose if this is required, and we can also choose if we want to show the label at the top, which of course we do. But there we go, this is now added. So essentially all we want to do is add in these different fields and build out both of these different form sections right here. Then we can go into the personal information. Once again, we can add in different fields and choose what information we want to collect. And of course, with these pre-fields that are already in here, we can click on these three dots and we can delete them. And then if you want to ask more questions or add more pages, we can click on add page right here, add a title, add the fields, and build this out. Awesome. So once you have all of your steps built out, we can then go to the header area right here, and we can choose if we want this header on or off. We can choose the title of this, we can choose a caption, and we can edit this. And we can even add a cover image and a logo if you would like that extra professionalism. Then we can choose the progress bar. So as people are going along, do we want this progress bar on or off? We can then choose the buttons right here. So we have submit, back, next. I wouldn't really recommend playing around with these because they are already formatted as they are meant to be. We can go to a footer. Once again, this isn't really necessary, but if you do want to add some like terms of service or a little bit of text here at the bottom, we can go ahead and type this out, and this is going to show up in the footer area. And then finally, we have the success message. So when somebody goes through and they fill out this survey, what do we want this success message to say? We can add a title, a bit of text. If we want to add a close button, I'll just see if we can submit this without. Okay, perfect. So there we go. We can see the success message right here. We can choose if there's a close button, what this button says. Once again, add a title and text and all of that good stuff. So that is how we can actually go ahead and build out this form. Next, we can go down to the email. And in here, what this essentially means is when somebody fills out this form, you are, of course, going to need to know the answers that they filled out. And the way that you're going to receive this is through email. Now, by default, the email that you will be emailed to is the email that you signed up to Elfsight with. So if you want to leave this, awesome. If you want to change this, we can click in. We can choose if we receive email notifications, which we definitely need to do. And then down here, we can go and delete this email that we have. We can add in new emails, add multiple emails. And for the email itself, I wouldn't recommend changing this because this is all set up by Elfsight to give you the correct information. So that is the email area. We can also choose if we want to send out a response to the people who filled this out. And email sender setting, I wouldn't recommend playing around with these either. Next, we can go to the layout and we can choose if this is inline or floating along the side of the website. And it's going to show up kind of like a little button down here that people can click and they can fill this out. Or if we just want this embedded on the website. Now for the form layout, don't play around with this. We want to keep this as multi-step because if we try to change this, the dimensions are going to get very messed up. So just leave this as it is. Then we can go down to appearance. And in here, this is where we can play around with the looks, the font, the colors, and make this match your website. So the first thing is this a light or dark website? We can select that right there. We can also change the accent color, which is essentially just going to change the color of these buttons, the submit button in particular. So I'll just set this to blue. We can then choose like the layout of each of the boxes, which I think this definitely looks the best. We can also choose the font of this. Now by default, when we actually add this to our Wix website, this is going to take the font of our Wix website and it's going to apply this to this widget. So you can just leave this as it is, or if you want to select a specific font for this widget, you absolutely can. And then down here in Customize Elements, this is where we can really play around with the colors. So we can go into the background, we can change the entire background color if we would like to. We can go to the header, we can change the title color, the caption color, the font. So just go down to Customize Elements and play around with all of the colors to make this fit your website. Then from here, we can go to settings and we can choose what happens when somebody submits this. Are we going to show them the success message that we added earlier? Are we just going to hide the form? Are we going to redirect them to a certain page that we can link right here? We can also choose spam protection if we want to enable like a captcha button. So they have to fill out a captcha when they go to submit this. These I wouldn't really play around with. And then we also have integrations if you do want to integrate this with any other tools. But once this is all set up and created and we are now ready to put this onto Wix, all we have to do is click on publish up here. And then Elfsight is going to take us over to this screen where we can now choose a plan. Now, the plan I recommend going for is this free plan, as this allows us to add the survey to our website for free. And then later down the line, if you do want to upgrade to one of these paid plans, if you want access to more widgets or more website views, you can upgrade to one of these at any time. But for now, just select the free plan. And once this is selected, Elfsight is then going to give us this piece of code that we can use to add the form to our website. So all we need to do is click on copy code, and then we can go over to our Wix editor. Inside of the editor, we first of all want to decide where do we actually want to add this on our website. So I'm going to add mine right underneath this big banner right here. So in here, we just want to add a section, and then where it says choose your starting point, we want to go ahead and add elements. So we can click on add elements, and the element that we want to add is we want to go to embed code right here and then embed HTML. So we can click and add this. And then what we now want to do is make sure that this is selected to code, click into the box where it says add your code here and paste in the code that we just copied. We can then click on update, and just like that, this box is now going to be added in. So all we have to do is spread this out to fit the entire section and make sure this all fits in. So if I go ahead and spread this out to fit the section, we can see the section needs to be bigger. So we can just drag this down and then drag the element itself down to about here is going to be absolutely perfect. And then we can drag this back up. Awesome. So just like that, we now have this added, and that is how you can add a survey to your Wix website.